guys, I decided to create this easy fall makeup look since fall is right around the corner. It's basically a bronze smoky eye with a dark red vampy lip. I came across this beautiful image of Rihanna and I thought I would use it as inspiration for this look. So if you're interested in seeing how this was created, please keep watching and subscribe for more. Alright, so before we start, all I did until this point was apply my moisturizer and eye cream. I used the Simple Rich Moisturizer and the Origins No Puffery Cooling Roll-On Gel. Now onto primer, I used the Maybelline Baby Skin Instant Pore Eraser and made sure to really work that into my skin. I also like to wait about 5 minutes or so, depending on how much time I have, before applying foundation to allow the primer to really sink into my skin. Okay, so now I'm going to take the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation with my Smashbox brush. I'm not sure exactly which brush that is, or if it's even a foundation brush to be honest, but I used it to work the foundation into my skin. Next, to add just a bit more coverage, I use the Tarte Clay Stick Foundation with my Real Techniques buffing brush. Since I didn't get very much sleep last night, I'm using the Estee Lauder Double Wear Concealer and the number 99 Sephora Pro Brush to cover up my dark circles. And I'm basically starting by just dotting that under each eye. Then, to lighten it up just a touch, I'm using the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer and adding a couple drops of that under each eye. And now I'm going to use the Sephora brush I mentioned earlier to blend all of that in. Now moving on to cream contour, I use the Clinique Chubby Foundation Stick and the number 56 Sephora Pro Brush. I'm basically applying that to my cheekbones, forehead, and temples and using the brush to blend it in. To contour my nose, I'm using the Smashbox Step by Step Contour Stick. Since it's a much cooler shade than the Clinique Chubby Foundation Stick, I do prefer it for my nose contour. So once I'm done applying that, I blend it in with the same number 56 Sephora brush. To set my under eyes, I use the Makeup Forever Ultra HD Pressed Powder with my Sephora Pro number 90 brush. I also like to set the center of my forehead and smile lines with this powder because it's really fine milled and I find that I get less creasing throughout the day with it. Okay, so to start with the eyes, I go in with the MAC Pro Longwear Paint Pot in Lay and Low as a base for my eyeshadow. Once I'm done applying that, I go in with the Real Techniques setting brush and some translucent powder to set that paint pot in place. Before I move on to eyeshadow, I'm going to set the rest of my face. So first, going in with the Laura Mercier translucent powder and the Real Techniques beauty sponge, I'm going to add a layer of that underneath my eyes. And this is mainly going to be used to catch any fallout from the eyeshadow that we use later on. Now, using the MAC bronzing powder in Refined Golden and the MAC 140 S brush, I'm basically setting everywhere that I cream contoured. Unfortunately, the footage of me actually doing this got cut off, but I'm going through the motions here to show you exactly where I applied it. Next, to set my nose, I'm going in with the Benefit Hoola Bronzer and setting the areas that I applied the Smashbox contour stick earlier. Again, this footage did get cut off, but I'm going in again with the translucent powder to bake the rest of my face. To fill in my brows, I go in with the Face Shop Designing Eyebrow Pencil and the Benefit Goof Proof Brow Pencil in shade number 4. My brows can be pretty difficult to work with, I'm not gonna lie, but I go in with those two brow pencils to make them look as decent as possible. Next, to set my brows, I go in with the Maybelline Brow Gel in dark brown, I believe. The label did rub off, but it does a pretty good job of setting my brows in place. Okay, so moving on to eyeshadow, I'm taking my Sigma E40 tapered blending brush and I'm going to go into my really old Sigma Dare palette. And I'm basically going to mix Catch and Shout together and use it as my transition shade. I'm gonna go in slowly and pick up more color as I go so I can build it up to my liking. So this is what the transition shade is looking like, but before I apply any more eyeshadow, I'm actually going to put on my lip color. And here I'm using the Stila liquid lipstick in the shade Bacca, and then I'm also going to add the Body Shop matte lip liquid in Mauritius Dahlia just to darken it up a bit. Okay, so focusing back on the eyes, I'm going to take my NYX Love Conquers All palette and use these two brown shades with my Sigma E25 crease brush and slowly build the color up in my crease. Then using my Makeup Geek, I believe it's the blending brush, I'm going into the darkest brown shade in the palette and I'm going to use that to deepen up my crease. Since I believe blending is super important when doing your makeup, I'm going back in with the Sigma E40 brush to make sure everything is seamless. And now using the Vasenti Inevitable eyeshadow palette, I'm going into the last two shades there, Antique Bronze and Copper Bronze, and I'm mixing them together to create my bronzy lid shade. And then going back into my NYX palette, I'm adding some of those browns I used in my crease to my lower lash line. And now I'm dusting off all the translucent powder that I applied to my face to bake my makeup. To save time, I actually applied my eyeliner and false lashes off camera, and now using an old Coastal Scents brush, I'm applying a nude eyeshadow shade to my brow bone as a highlight. Like I said earlier, blending is key, so I'm going in for one last blend before we finish up the eyes. Now I'm taking my e.l.f. Baked Highlighter in Blush Gems and applying that to my cheekbones and forehead. This is a pretty subtle highlight, and since I have textured skin, I'm not big on super intense highlights, so this one works perfectly for me. Finally, I'm setting my makeup with the Skindinavia Oil Control Makeup Setting Spray. And this is the finished look. Thank you so much for watching. Definitely leave me a comment, thumbs up the video, and subscribe for more. Bye guys!